Chapter 8, Section 5, Factoring x squared plus bx plus c trinomials. To factor a trinomial of the form x squared plus bx plus c as the product of two binomials, you must find two numbers that have a sum b and a product c. Notice this form means that there's an understood 1 in front of the x squared. So x squared would be a term, and it's always going to have that understood 1. There's not ever going to be, for this form, how to factor this trinomial form, there's not going to be a number besides 1 in front of the x squared. So what this says is we have to find two numbers that are going to multiply together to equal c, and then add together to equal b. B and c are going to be constants or numbers, and then notice b is being multiplied by x. C is just going to be a number by itself at the end of your trinomial written in standard form. When b and c are both positive, we are going to list the positive factors of c and then find the sum of the factors, which needs to be the constant b. If we look at our first example, it says, what is the factored form of x squared plus 9x plus 20? Today we're going to talk about making a table. The first thing that we need to do is we need to make a table of the factors of 20, because 20 is my c in this trinomial. The factors of 20 that I've written down are 1 and 20, 2 and 10, and 4 and 5. What I need to do with these factors is I need to add them together, and I need them to add together to equal 9. So if you look, 1 and 20 add together to be 21, 2 plus 10 is 12, and then 4 plus 5 is 9. So 1 and 20 are not going to be my factors that I need to use because they have a sum of 21. 2 and 10 are not going to be my factors, but 4 and 5 are going to be my factors because they add together to equal 9, which is b in this trinomial. What I do with those factors now is I'm going to write them as two binomials, x plus 4, which is one of my factors, and x plus 5, which is the other factor. 4 and 5 multiply together to equal 20 and add together to equal 9. What I need to do with these two binomials is I need to go ahead and check my answer, see if they multiply together to give me x squared plus 9x plus 20, the original trinomial. The fastest way to do this is to just go ahead and use the FOIL method. So multiply your first x times x is x squared. Outside, x times 5 is 5x. Inside, 4 times x is 4x. And then your last factors, 4 times 5 is 20. Go ahead and we can combine. 5x plus 4x is 9x. Notice when I went ahead and FOILed my x plus 4 times x plus 5, I got my original trinomial x squared plus 9x plus 20, which means the factored form of x squared plus 9x plus 20 is x plus 4 times x plus 5. These could be flip-flopped. You could have x plus 5 times x plus 4 and you would get the same answer. So that's fine if you had x plus 5 times x plus 4. To multiply, when b is negative, so when we had the trinomial x squared minus bx plus c, when b is negative and c is positive, we're going to list the negative factors of c and then find the sum of the factors, which needs to be the constant b. So we're still looking for two factors, and if you think about this, this makes sense because to have factors or to multiply two numbers and get a positive product, we would either need to multiply a positive times a positive or a negative times a negative. Because c is positive, we need to multiply either positive times positive or negative times a negative, but because they need to add together to equal a negative b, we need to use the negative times a negative because they would have a sum that is negative. This example says, what is the factored form of x squared minus 6x plus 8? I need to go ahead and list the factors of 8. I need to list the negative factors because my b, 6, is a negative 6. We can multiply -1 times -8 and get 8. We could also multiply -2 times -4 and get 8. -1 plus -8 is -9, and -2 times plus -4 is -6. So my factors are not going to be -1 and -8 because they have a sum of -9. My factors are going to be -2 and -4 because they have a sum of -6, which is my B. Go ahead and write your two binomials as x minus 2 and x minus 4. We always want to go ahead and check our answer. X times x is x squared. X times -4 is -4x. -2 times x is -2x. And -2 times -4 is a positive 8. Combine -4x minus 2x is -6x. And this is what I needed those two binomials to multiply to be, because that is the original trinomial that I started with. So my answer is x minus 2 times x minus 4. Again, you could have x minus 4 times x minus 2, and you would get the same product when you multiply those two binomials. So that order doesn't matter, but you need the two binomials, x minus 2 and x minus 4. Notice this example, we are talking about factoring x squared plus bx minus c. So you're going to have a positive b and a negative c. When c is negative, we need to list pairs of positive and negative factors of c, and then find the sum of the factors, which needs to be the constant b. So in this case, the only way to multiply two numbers and get a negative product is to be multiplying a positive times a negative number. This example says, what is the factored form of x squared minus 3x minus 18? Notice in my table of factors, -1 times 18 is -18, but I can also do a +1 times a -18. So notice that for each pair of factors, I'm actually going to have two different sets, because I can make the first one negative in the first set and the second one negative in the second set. So I have -1 and 18, 1 and 18, -2 and +9, 2 and -9, -3 and 6, and then 3 and -6. Go ahead and find the sum of your factors. -1 plus 18 is 17. I need them to add together to equal -3. 1 plus -18 is -17. -2 plus 9 is 7. 2 plus -9 is -7. -3 plus 6 is a +3. And 3 plus -6 is a -3. So the pair of factors that I need to use in this example are a +3 and a -6, because they multiply together to equal -18, and they have a sum of -3. Now I'm going to use 3 and -6 to write two binomials. Just like in my previous examples, I need to go ahead and check my answer. X times x is x squared. The outside numbers, -6 times x is -6x. The inside numbers, 3 times x is a +3x, and then my last in my two binomials is -18. I can combine -6x plus 3x to be -3x. So I'm going to have x squared minus 3x minus 18, which if you look at your original question, that is the trinomial that I need to get when multiplying my two binomials. So my final answer is x plus 3 times x minus 6. The area of a picture frame is given by the trinomial x squared plus 6x minus 16. The length of the frame is x plus 8. What is the width of the picture frame? Remember to find the area. We multiply length times width. They tell us that the product of length times width needs to be x squared plus 6x minus 16. Then they tell us that the length is x plus 8. Notice they've given me one of my factors here, a +8. So what number times a +8 is going to multiply with +8 to give you -16? The other binomial is going to be, the answer to that question is -2. 8 times -2 is -16. And if you look at 8 and -2, they would also have a sum of positive 6. So my two binomials are going to be x plus 8, which is what they gave us, and x minus 2. Go ahead and check your answer just like in all of these examples. X times x is x squared, negative 2 times x is negative 2x, 8 times x is a positive 8x, and 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Negative 2x plus 8x is a positive 6x, and if you look, that is what I needed my answer to be when I factored these two binomials. So the width of the picture frame is x minus 2. This next example says, what is the factored form of x squared minus xy minus 6y squared? This time we need to have factors of negative 6y squared that have a sum of a negative y. Negative 1y times a positive 6y would give you negative 6y squared, but they would have a sum of 5y. 1y times negative 6y would have a product of negative 6y, but their sum would be a negative 5y. Negative 2y times 3y would give you negative 6y squared, but their sum would be a positive y. And then 2y times negative 3y would give you negative 6y squared, and their sum would give you a negative y. If you notice my b here, I have a negative x times y. Well, the x is there in the form of the trinomial, but the negative y is what's being multiplied by the x. So in this case, my answer is going to, or the two factors that I need to use are going to be 2y and negative 3y. Just like in the previous examples, I'm going to write them as two binomials, x plus 2y and x minus 3y. Go ahead and FOIL, and you get x squared minus 3xy plus 2xy minus 6y squared. Negative 3xy plus 2xy is a negative 1xy. And so my final answer is x plus 2y times x minus 3y. Today's assignment is on page 535. It's numbers 1 through 9, 10 through 28 even, and number 31.